Hi, welcome to a new edition of the Big Joel Show, the Big Joel Podcast. Very exciting today. I've got Jennifer Blanchard and Hannah Hakim of Keller Williams, New Orleans, Louisiana. Those of you that know me know I'm a Tulane graduate, so of course I'm very fond of New Orleans and the whole state of Louisiana, of course. We're filming this one in February, and we're really close to Mardi Gras, so I might tell my really funny king cake story towards the end if we have time, because they will get a kick out of it. Jennifer and Hannah are partners, and again, they work for Keller Williams in New Orleans, and they sell a lot of real estate, so this is going to be a great podcast, and you're going to have a ton of takeaways from listening to this. 2016, 84 units sold. 2017, 90 units sold. In 2018, 80 units sold. Those of you that know me know I really don't ever care about what the volume is. I care about the units, because not everyone can control where they are, whether you're selling $800,000 houses or $400,000 houses. The bottom line is you can control your units, and the more units you sell, the more happy clients you have, and the bigger your business grows. So I could tell you the volume, but honestly, I don't even care what the volume is. It's healthy. But they sell a lot of houses. Also, they don't have a massive team. There's just 3 of them. You're seeing 2 of them right now, and the third one is in the salt mines, slaving away, right, doing something. You're just seeing that you're seeing the 2 grinders here today. So I want to start, and I think Jennifer, give me a little background, because you've been in the business since 2006, and you got displaced by Katrina and came back. And just tell everyone a little bit about that before we start talking about your business.
Yeah, moved to Baton Rouge after Katrina.
When was that? What, Katrina was?
2006.
September 2006, right?
2005. It was September. It was August of 2005. But I started selling real estate the year after that, so it would have been 2006. Okay. So it was the August of 2006 that I started selling. So since then, I was selling real estate. Don't ask me how I even got into real estate. I can't even really remember, because I was in grad school at that time, but I didn't finish. So here I am selling real estate. Fast forward, was married, had a really big team, got divorced, and here I am. So now it's just a smaller team, and we realize that smaller is better when you're really focused. Sometimes you can have that lag, and we don't have that lag here.
When did you come back? So just to explain to people that don't really understand, you said it really fast. I want to make sure everyone understands.
Sorry.
So no. I just want you to, to you, it's normal. To most people, it's not. I mean, everyone knows the term Katrina. Everyone saw it on the news, but Katrina whacked out the city of New Orleans, and basically half the place either went to Houston or went someplace else just because it was not livable for a while. So, Jennifer went to Baton Rouge, which is 50 miles up the road or whatever, up to 10, something like that.
About an hour and a half.
But it's a completely different market. Okay. And then when did you come back to New Orleans and start selling houses back in New Orleans?
I came back in 2014, but the team dynamic was different because I was married at that time. So we had a bigger team. And I really didn't sell too much back then. I was kind of in operations mode, recruiting and retaining, training. And now I'm back in the trenches. So just to give everyone, so you understand, these people have been selling real estate and Hannah, 2004. When did you start selling real estate, Hannah, in New Orleans?
I started selling real estate, I believe it was 2014.
So these are 2 people that really started 5 years ago, meaning in New Orleans, which is good. Yeah. I want people to understand, because you guys are selling a lot of real estate. It's not the old, I hate when people watch these podcasts with, they're selling a lot because they've been in the market for 20 years. That's why they sell many houses. No. That's not what's going on.
Hannah and I started all over again about 2.5 years ago. I want to honestly say, I think it was 2.5 years ago, because I was pregnant for my son and he's going on 3. So it was about 2.5, 3 years ago where we really, scaled everyone back, and Hannah and I just started
So Hannah, what's your background? When did you, from if you went to college, or when did you start selling real estate right away?
Pretty much, yeah. So I graduated in 2013, and I was kind of figuring out what I wanted to do, and I realized, why would I prolong this? This is ultimately something that I want to do. I might as well just hit the ground running. So I moved from Monroe to New Orleans. I had no sphere here. I had very limited family, limited friends here, with the exception of a few people in Baton Rouge because I went to LSU. So I really just started
Wait,
from
Hannah, can I say it because I'm a Tulane grad? LSU? Sorry, I had to throw it out there. Go ahead, keep going.
Come on.
Keep going. Keep going. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. See, LSU and then came to New Orleans really cold. Really.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, and I was actually with another company prior. I was with another company for about a year, and I'll be honest, I was not hitting my goals. I was not focusing on the right things. I just did not have a whole lot of guidance. And so I joined Keller Williams, and I joined the team, and
here we are.
Yeah. 5 years later.
So Jennifer, tell me, you can go ahead and start. I like to kind of go through sort of buyer experience, seller experience. I love, to get into sort of the details, because those are the great takeaways that people get that are listening, that are maybe selling 5 houses a year. So let's talk about. We'll start with the buyer experience. Just Jennifer, in 80 units in 2018. What's your breakup list versus buy side ballpark? You don't have to be exact.
Ballpark, I want to say last year we were still a little buyer focused. And then towards the end of the year, we kind of switched over to seller focused.
So it's 50-50?
Yeah, more. It was probably 60-40.
60 buy, 40?
Yeah.
Okay.
60,
right.
No, 60 sell, 40 buy.
Okay. 60 sell, 40 buy.
60-40. That's what I mean, like the 60-40, 60% sellers.
Got it.
So yeah.
Okay. So tell me about the buyer. Tell me about the buyer experience. What's different about your buyer experience? What do you do? The phone rings, and the call comes in, and they say, "Hi, Jennifer or Hannah. Hi. I was referred by so and so. I need to buy a house. What do you do? What do you guys do?" Okay, Hannah, go. What do you do? What do you do? Tell everyone. What do you do? Do you meet with everyone? What do you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think one way that's really crucial to build rapport with the person and have them trust you, you're not some voice over the phone, is you need to get them in front of you as soon as possible. You need to create kind of some urgency. So you want to set an appointment with them if they're looking to purchase, and then get them over to a lender. You want to, I frame it in a way of, I can better help you if I know criteria that we're looking at realistically. I don't want to start talking about different areas and areas that financially may not work out right now. I want to be realistic when we're chatting. So I like to get them over to a lender.
Do you have them? I just want to step before we get, do you push for them to meet you in your office even before that?
Absolutely.
Yes. And a lot of times you frame it of, I do this every day. You don't. I would never just throw you in a house. It's going to overwhelm you. You're not going to know what you're doing. And you really need to put your best foot forward. So come to the office. I would like to meet with you, really hone in on what you're looking for, and, go over some of the out-of-pocket expenses that the lender is not going to tell you about because it's optional. Inspections, appraisals sometimes are mentioned, but not always. But I think people are a lot of times surprised at the fact of how much inspections do cost, and they're surprised about how much closing fees cost, and they want a breakdown. And it's really just meeting with them and educating them. Yeah, they don't know what closing costs are most of the time. They don't realize that it can be the amount of a down payment, and it may not be something that they have right now, but if they're a few months out, it's something that makes it easy for them to prepare for. And it's also managing their expectations. If they have a certain price point and they want to be in a certain area, if there's just no realistic way that would ever happen, I like to address that up front and then bring up solutions for that, other areas that will work for them that maybe they didn't consider before. And so it's just a good way to kind of build rapport with them. And we've had great success with that. Once we meet with them, it's it. Yeah.
99% of the people who meet with us buy through us. We don't lose them. They realize that we're not just door openers.
Yeah.
And
you have to care.
Yeah.
You really
because it's the world we're in right now. It's funny. When I talk to a group of realtors, Hannah, you might actually heard me talk about this before. When everyone's all scared about technology and this, that, and the other, and I'm like, look, if you own the brain cells of the buyer, they can be up for 4 hours in slippers, slamming Chardonnay all night online, looking at stuff, but they're going to call you to go look. They're going to get done and have their list and still call you, Hannah. Okay, I'm ready to go. So there's no technology is not going to replace you. If you own those brain cells. And that it's funny because all top producing agents, I've never interviewed an agent that has said anything different than, oh yeah, I'm going to do everything in my power to get them to come to my office. I want to be in front of them. And even if they push back on me, I'm going to push back a little bit. Like I'm not going to fold on that. I'm going to be able to explain to them how important this is, what, to the whole process, because honestly, you can't serve them correctly if you don't know that stuff, right?
And the business standards.
And it's one of the most, it's probably one of the biggest financial decisions that they're going to make, at least right now. Why would you not want to consult with someone? It's just a responsible thing to do, in my opinion. And also, too, to kind of spin it on a different angle from just a standard that we've set for ourselves and our business. It's a safety standard. I don't just go meet anyone in a vacant home. I mean, from a safety standpoint, I need you to meet. If you're serious about buying, you will come into the office and you will meet with me. It's if you're serious. If you're a looky-loo, then it's probably not going to be a good fit anyway. So it's just setting standards for your business and staying true to that. And we've had great success with it.
Okay, so we get him to come in, and do you have like a form? I mean, do you collect certain information? Do you put that in a CRM? I'm getting super tactical now, but this is why I get feedback all the time on my podcast. Like, Joel, your podcast was so good. I'm like, why? And they're like, it was really detail oriented. Like they gave us info. So do you actually almost have like an intake sheet where you're taking notes and then does it go into a CRM?
Absolutely. So we have a folder. We have a packet of information that we give them, and it'll have questions in there, and it'll have, I spend the first part of the consult just saying, the fun part. Tell me what you're looking for. What's your ideal home in a perfect scenario? Tell me what the perfect house is. And so we just kind of go over some of their wants and needs, and then I go over some of the things that out-of-pocket expenses. Maybe they didn't realize flood insurance in New Orleans, as you can imagine, is high in certain areas, and a lot of people don't factor that into their monthly note. So it's important to kind of touch on those topics because, to me, what they're approved for is important, sure, but the more important question for them is where do you want to be per month? You can waste a lot of time with the buyer focusing on where they're pre-approved versus where they want to spend their monthly note, because they may be approved for $250, but when you break it down, insurance is included, they need to be more around $200. And so you're showing them homes in the wrong price point. You really got to break it down to where they want to be per month. And that's really more important. So from there, I kind of take it into going over a transaction, from start to close, what to expect, the timeline, and the time frame. So they have a good idea and an understanding of how the process is going to look once they find a home.
So how long do you typically spend? Is it an hour? Is it
an hour?
It can be an hour. If they have more questions, or if we, sometimes you are building rapport, and if you're having good conversation, you don't really want to break that up. But I would say, no, I think the longest I've had was maybe an hour and 45 minutes.
But that's the reason I asked the question is Jennifer boldly leaned forward and said, they come in here, they're buying a house from us, which I love, of course. But that's why. But I wanted everyone to hear that. That's why I asked how long. Everyone that's listening or watching, that's why their close ratio is 100%, because it's not like, okay, we do this for 12 minutes. Now we go look at 5 houses. No. You do it for as long as it takes.
We don't even look at houses that day.
No, we schedule different because honestly, they need to be approved. But I like to get it approved and meet with them first before we schedule homes to see. And a lot of times they'll have a list of some that they want, and I'll pull it up on my computer and we'll kind of go through it with them. And it helps me get a feel for things that they like. And look, an hour and a half, set out, you don't want to zip through it in 30 minutes. You really can't. That's not enough time, one, to know what they're looking for and go over everything. And you don't want it to feel rushed. You actually genuinely need to care. Spend at least an hour, but it's usually an hour to an hour and 30 minutes.
Put the time in up front so you don't lose them in the back end. If you put that time up front, people don't understand. It's like the more people see that you care, the more they trust you. So it's about building rapport. That's it. And if it takes an hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours, that's what it takes.
Set aside the time just in case.
So we can end the podcast right now based on what they just said, based on what Jennifer just said. Spend the time up front so you don't lose them later. And that, Jennifer, is such a huge concept for people. They don't get it. I fight with real estate agents and loan officers all the time that I'm coaching or whatever on, no, I delegate that. No, I'm too busy to spend. Right. And I'm like, you are totally missing the boat. You're delegating the wrong stuff. You're saying
business.
You're saying you're too busy to do. This is really what your job is. That's your job. I mean, that hour and a half, that's really your job right there.
That's one of the most important times that you can spend.
That's going to get you 20 referrals from that person. After they close. Okay,
yeah,
so
absolutely.
So buyer consultation, insist on them coming in. Checklist, there's no real time limit, and then that information is going into a CRM, correct?
Yep.
It's going into a CRM.
Put them on a search instantly. So even, if they're 3 months out or even sometimes a little bit longer, I still like to meet with them. Still meet with them and build rapport. Yep. If you know that they're going to purchase, you need to meet with them as soon as you can. Yeah, because you want to start building that rapport, and then you can put them on a search. It doesn't have to be as soon as something comes on the market, but I always frame it in a way of, if you're looking in a certain area, I'm going to put you on a search that fits your criteria so you can start getting a sense of the market.
Even if they're 6 months out, doesn't matter.
Even if they're 6 months out, that's even better because they really do. They like looking at them, and you know what?
They'll come back to you.
But a lot of times that 6 months turns into 3 months. When you start sending them homes, a lot of times they see something they like, and it creates urgency, and they want to get finish the pre-approval process, and they want to go see it.
And I think a lot of the, salespeople in general are like now people, like it's got to happen right now. And I always say all the time, I mean, look, real estate is a long tail business. I mean, you could meet someone and list their house 7 years later. I mean, it's you have to understand that part of the process. And when you build your business that way, you build a very robust business. I mean, our mutual friend Hung and I talk about this all the time. It's a slow build. It's a slow
and steady wins the race.
I followed up with people for 2 years, and I have a handful of people where it's been at least a 2-year process, and we laugh about it at the end, but you don't have to put too much time in after that. It's just following up. Make the follow-up calls.
Stay in front.
And they remember you. They come back to you. So it's
so Jennifer, let's talk about listings. Let's talk about selling people's houses. You get a phone call to, hey, can you come list my house? Tell me what you do. Tell everyone what you do, how you handle that. I'm assuming that you do more of the listings and Hannah does more of the buyers. Is that?
Now we kind of switch because our business is starting to get really listing based.
Okay.
And it's nothing against buyers. We'll be honest with you. It's buyers are time consuming. I think in 2017, like Hannah really killed herself and she's like, oh my gosh, this is really hard. And basically we realized, listings are life. Like listings are your lifeline. If you don't have a store, if you have a store, you have no inventory. So we've just been really seller focused.
And honestly, we don't even really prospect for buyers anymore.
They come to us.
Well, but if you have the listings, you always get the buyers.
Buyers come. Yeah, yeah.
So so tell me about how you guys handle a new listing, how what you do, how you prepare, what you do when you go to their house. Tell everyone how you do, the secret sauce of getting that listing. Walk through it with me. Either one of you, or Jennifer, you go.
Time, Hannah, it's the same exact thing with the buyer consult. It's building rapport because people, we're in Keller Williams and we take bold. So they'll tell you, oh, you should be in and out in 30 minutes.
Bad.
It's really.
They do. They say 45 minutes, I think.
Or we need them in the office. I said, well, that's just, I don't know what their home looks like, so I can't even. And here in New Orleans, it's different. It's block by block, street by street, house by house. So we couldn't even they couldn't even come into the office. But
so someone calls you, Jennifer, and say, "Hi, Jennifer, this is Joel. I was referred to you by Hannah, and I need to list my house." And they said, you're the person to list it. What do you do?
Sure. Can I tell me a little bit about your house? Rate your house on a scale of 1 to 10. They'll tell me it's an 8 or a 9. What would make it a 10? I take those notes down. Realistically, what do you think your home's worth?
So you're doing all of this over the phone before you go, right?
Yeah, and it's just giving us an idea of what we're getting into. Because if I know that their house is worth $250,000 and they're like, well, my house is worth $325, I already know I have to go in there prepared with my numbers.
Wait, stop that. Stop just for 1 second. I'm sorry. So, because not all agents do it like this. A lot of agents just go, okay, Monday at 1. Okay, they just go. So you're prepping. You're getting in their head over the phone immediately. You're not waiting till you're in front of them, right? You want to know what you want to know as much as what they're thinking. Okay.
Yeah, I need to know up front so I can be prepared for objections that's going to come.
Okay.
So if they tell me, if I know their house is worth $250 and they're telling, if I know it's worth $250 and they tell me it's worth $325, I know I have to go in there and prepare with my numbers.
But you don't address it over the phone. You're just logging it and knowing where you're going.
Never talk price over the phone. We never, ever. That's like a nail in the coffin. They'll just decide right then and there because you haven't built that rapport and you haven't shown them the numbers. So, we get everything prepared. We ask them, on a scale of 1 to 10. And we usually schedule all of our appointments after 11:30 because we're on the phones from 9 to 11:30 every day. We do our follow-ups between 11 to 11:30, and we're on the phones from 9 to 11. So all of our appointments fall after that. We set up our appointments. We go in there, and we just basically,
What do you take with you? What do you have? What's in your hands when you walk in?
My iPad, because before I was keeping all of my listings in a notebook, and Hannah needs to get her little self an iPad. Yeah. But now I have an iPad, and I keep all my listing appointments, and it schedules it. It breaks it all down, like every listing that I go on, and I take all my notes. So I'm not flipping back, because some people are like, okay, we're not ready to list today. We have some work to do, and then I can go back to those notes as opposed to flipping through a notebook. It's it's so easy. An iPad keeps me so streamlined now. It's amazing.
Okay, so you walk in. What about all your, your CMAs?
No, we don't go through that first.
Okay, so tell me. So tell me. So it's in a briefcase on the floor or whatever. Yeah, it's not in your hands.
Yeah, we're like, can we put our stuff down? So we put all of our stuff down and we walk through the house. We're like, and of course they want to walk with you. I know Keller Williams is big on, oh no, you walk through the house yourself. They all want to walk through it with you. Fine. We cater to that. We feed into that. Show us. It's awesome.
Right.
So we go through, we take notes of the house. We go through every room. We take notes. Oh, they'll tell us this is great. This is great. And so we sit back down and then we go over our list.
How much time do you take doing that? As much time as it takes?
As much time as it takes. We were on a listing appointment the other day for 2.5 hours. And he interviewed like 7 agents. And he's like, y'all are in the top 2. I'll get back with you. A week before that, we went on a listing appointment and we went against 7 of the top people in the area and we got the listing over, just spending time. It was taking the time because people don't care how much you know. They want to see how much you care. And that's it.
Let me just repeat that. People don't care how much you know. They want to know how much you care. Great. That's awesome, by the way. Okay, so you walk it and now you're back at the kitchen table. Now you're back at the table. We go over the listing presentation. We go over all the stuff that we do. We go over our stats because that's important. Now, because they told you, Jennifer, 350. Your numbers say 295, maybe. Right?
Maybe.
And that's if the house is in pristine condition when you get there, and you don't even know until you get there, right?
Yeah, and I don't know until I get there.
Right. But you're still in your mind, you're at 295. They said 350. Or let's be more realistic. They said, let's say they said 320. We'll be more realistic. Say it's 35,000 off or 25,000 off. And that. So walk through your process. You're at the table. Where do you start?
So first we go over our stats. We sold this many homes. Our list to sell price is 97.6. So we're netting you 97.6% list to sales price. Our average days on the market is 33 days. Been in the business for 13 years.
You're doing your resume.
I'm giving them my resume. Like, this is the experience we have. So when we go to these numbers, they're going to know that we're experienced and that we know what we're talking about. And it's not just like, oh, this is just some Yahoo telling me. So we're hitting them with, this is everything we do to earn our money. They do professional photography. We will keep in touch with you weekly. Sometimes it's going to be more than one time a week you hear from us. Communication's key, agents. If you are listening to this, please call your clients, call your sellers. They want to hear from you. Stop dodging their phone calls. Call them. Pick up the phone. The biggest complaint we hear.
Yeah.
We take a lot of expired listings, and they're like, I never heard from my agent. They call.
They don't know what the feedback is because they never talk to their agent. So
yeah. So they don't know. So after we go through all of this of everything we do, and from start to finish, we build that rapport with them, and then they're like, okay, well, let's go over the numbers, and we'll look at them, and so when we know that they're off on their numbers, we bring a lot of information with them to the point where they get it.
They'll come up. So when you go through every single home that sold in the last, 6 months, and let's say there's 20 pages there of comparables, right? It's funny to see that change. It really is, because you ask them, so we reviewed everything, what do you think? And 9 times out of the 10, they'll say, I think my number is not 320. I think my number maybe isn't what I thought it was. And we'll
ask them, what do you think it is?
Because you try to get them to come to that realization themselves before you tell them.
Hannah, what do you all do if they won't? If they want to list at 320 and 295 is a stretch, what do you do?
It depends. Depends. Sometimes we say, well, look, we'll let you try your number.
If it's within reason. If we're within a $20,000 swing, that's within reason,
And how long, if you let them try, is it a downward escalator? Is it 7 days? Some agents will, they'll look people in the eye and it'll be, they'll kind of make a joke. Okay, I'll give you your price for 24 hours. You know what I mean? Like this thing is dropping immediately if we don't get any action.
2 weeks.
And a lot of times too, if they are adamant on their price, they're adamant, but it's within reason. It's not, we're not 30 plus off from our suggested price. We say, look, you want to try your number, but we want everyone on the same page. This is your number. This is our suggested price. This is where we know you'll probably, you'll get an offer. This is where the comparables are dictating this. And from an appraisal standpoint, this is where the price needs to be. So in 2 weeks, when you call them for a price adjustment, because it's going to happen.
And we get feedback. So we know
get feedback. So when you call them to have that difficult conversation.
It's not so difficult.
It's not difficult. Because they're anticipating it, and they already know we did not suggest 320. That was our price. You're right. The prices needs to be under 300. So it's not a difficult conversation. It's a very easy conversation to have when you have the difficult conversation up front.
And if they're way out, you guys walk, right? if they're way out, you walk.
There's no point to take the listing. We would be wasting everyone's time. We would be doing them a disservice, and we're not the best people for the job.
But yet agents do it all the time.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. We turned down 3 listings. Hannah told one lady, she was like, I'm sorry. And she's like, so you really mean to tell me you're not going to take my listing? She said, Mrs. Seller, if I take your listing, I'm going to do you a disservice, and it's not going to sell, and you're going to be angry with me in the end. I can't do it to you. I really just can't believe you're not going to take my listing. All agents would take a listing. Well,
we could take a listing, but we don't list to list. We list to sell.
We list to sell. And that's what we tell our sellers. We list to sell. We don't list to sit. It's to sell.
Okay. So once they are listed with you, what type of things do you do during that in-between process before they get an offer? What things do you do with your sellers? I know I know communication is big for you all.
Communication.
How often do you touch them? How do you touch them? Is it text? Is it email? Is it a phone call? What do you all do?
Phone calls. Some of our sellers duck our phone calls because they know what we're calling for. Some sellers, they duck us. They know they'll duck our phone calls. And so I'll tell them, and when they finally do call back, I'm like, you were ducking my phone calls, huh? And they'll tell us, no, that's not what I was doing. That is what they were doing. We know we're not seasoned with this. So they know we're calling them with market updates. Hey, the feedback keeps coming back and says that your house smells like cat. It smells, you may want to adjust this. That's not us. It's the buyer.
Your house smells like cat.
No, I'm just giving an example.
No, but it's a good one though. Yeah.
Tell them, like, this isn't us. This is the agent. Always blame it on the agent and the buyer. The agent and the buyer said it. I didn't say that. They did. and this is what they're seeing. So you're going to have to address it. And
or if it's a neighborhood, sometimes we get that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a neighborhood, it's indicative of price. Everything rises and falls on price. Everything's manageable, but the feedback is crucial. So the system that we have, it sends them the feedback as soon as it comes in, and we are aggressive when it comes to getting the feedback because that is.
Okay, so Hannah, you said the system that we have. Let's talk about that. You also said we are aggressive about getting them the feedback.
Yes.
There are a lot of agents. It's funny, the agents that take high listings that will never sell, agents that take listings and never talk to their people because they're scared to engage, or they're scared to tell the people, hey, by the way, got to lock up the dog. You know what I mean? Or you need to do this, or you can't trash the house when people are coming in. Whatever the feedback is. When you said you have a system, what is the feedback system? What do you guys do exactly?
So basically, we use showing times, but showing time sends out an email. And most of the times the agents don't fill out the feedback. So we have to hound them and find them. And we do. We get them on the phone and we get their feedback. And
call them on a different number. Call them on a different number. We have a few different numbers that we can trick them up and get that feedback. And we're pretty good at getting feedback.
Your buyer, and your sellers need to hear that. And I hear some agents say, well, I can't give out my information of what my buyer. You're not giving out anything. You're just telling us, like, what did your clients think about the floor plan? What did they think about this? And most of the time they're very cooperative with us. They give us the feedback and it's sent to the sellers.
How many agents do you think are as aggressive as you all at doing that?
The appointments that we're going on, no one gets feedback.
So it's interesting, if you all are listening or you're watching and you're thinking, oh, this is normal. By the way, this is abnormal, meaning you're hearing two professional, high producing agents talking about chasing other agents, even with a fake phone number to get the feedback. So think about this. If these two, Hannah and Jennifer, are listing your house, I mean, if I'm a potential person, a potential listing, and like I'm listening to this podcast, like I want to hire you immediately just because you're tweaking and the whole way through. I mean, now I see why you're getting those houses sold so quickly, because you're able to pivot. You're able to make adjustments. You're able to, hey, everyone said that, you can't, this room has crappy access because it's a shotgun, move the couch.
Yes.
I mean, something stupid like that. By the way, for those of you that don't know what that is, a shotgun's a long, skinny house, by the way. But, and you could have a piece of furniture somewhere and the feedback could be, my God, that armoire makes the house look tiny, right? So move it. Right? I mean, I know that sounds stupid, but it's right on, right?
It's crucial. Feedback is crucial.
Crucial. We have a client now. Her house is on the market for 3 years, Hannah. 3 years? 3 years. We were like the 6th real estate agent. And she's like, she was not confident that we can sell it. We told her, we're like, look, we're in here to sell it. It is not going to sit. It's going to sell. We got an offer on it within a month. And it's a shotgun style house. She tells me the other day, y'all didn't think y'all were going to sell my house. I said, no, you're lying. I said, when we met with you, we told you we were going to sell your house. And that's what we did. And this lady is sharp as a whip.
So everyone, this is a big takeaway, for you, for listings, for listing agents, the feedback piece. And, Jennifer, the reason I asked the question, how many agents do you think actually follow up like that? And you very quickly are like, pretty much no one. I mean, I already knew that. That was a layup. I mean, I knew that. I'm listening to you guys going, wow, that's awesome.
We know. Yeah. We hear the consumer. We list a lot of expired and withdrawn houses. And the biggest complaint is I never got feedback. I didn't know who was coming in my house. I said, wait a second. You had your house listed and your most valuable possessions are in this house. And you have no idea who's going in your house. Nope. So you didn't know when your appointments were. Nope. They just texted me and said somebody. I was like, okay, so that's all going to change. That's all going to change. I mean, this is crazy that agents, number one, don't get that do this. Number two, you're not getting feedback for your clients. How is your buyer how is your seller? I'm sorry. How's your seller going to know what to fix if they don't know what's broken? They live in the house. They don't know that a shotgun house is not favorable. They don't know that.
And a lot of times, we can tell them, and so we're blue in the face, if, certain things about the home that we think might deter buyers, we can tell them, hinder a sale. We can tell them all day long. But if they hear it from 10 different people, it clicks. So that's why it's so important.
This is going to be a really cool segment. You're going to get really good feedback on this, by the way. This is going to be a cool segment. So let's talk before we run out of time, because we could be talking forever, a long time. So let's talk about social media just a little bit, because that's a thing. Question, Hannah, I'll go to you on this. Okay. Hannah, do you Facebook friend all of your clients? Is that automatic?
So funny that you just said that, because we have a client party this evening. And so I was going through and making sure everyone that we closed with in the last 2 weeks, I friended them. Yeah. And I friend them after we close. It's just.
Don't friend them before.
Yeah, don't friend them before, just don't.
Well, friend them when you're friends.
Friend them when you're friends. Yeah, and that's what we tell people.
Exactly.
We don't go away.
Yeah.
we force you to be friends with us.
Yeah. What about? So you guys use Instagram? Do you use Facebook? LinkedIn? Do you use LinkedIn or minimal?
We don't use LinkedIn. We don't utilize LinkedIn. We do Instagram and Facebook, but LinkedIn we have not tapped into.
LinkedIn is more of a resume, Jennifer. What I find is that clients will say you have a husband and wife, wife and wife. It doesn't matter. You have a couple. And usually one couple is maybe more social and the other one's more anal, more businessy. That person will go look at your LinkedIn almost as your resume. Like, okay, who is this person? Like, how long have they been selling real estate? What's their deal? And the other one's looking at Facebook. Who are they? Oh, Hannah just got engaged. Oh, cool pictures. I mean, I'm saying this because I've been looking at the pictures. Oh, Hannah look at those pictures. Those are great pictures, or whatever it is. And so do you guys use Twitter at all? Any Twitter or not really?
Not really. It's just not part of our business plan. It's just not. It's just
so Facebook. So Facebook
and Instagram.
And Instagram. And do you start, Hannah, if you're making a post, do you put it on Instagram and then click the Facebook button, or what? Tell me what you're doing. Give them a little. People always ask about this. It's a thing.
Yeah, and I know that a lot of people have had success doing that, but personally, I think I mainly focus on Facebook versus Instagram.
And I do Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, she does Instagram and Facebook. But I probably should link them. Yeah,
I do. I link them. So like if I post to our Facebook page, our business Facebook, our Instagram page, I link it to our Facebook. So it's on both of them. So
okay. I personally think a lot of agents use social media wrong. They're not using it right. I'm all about being social on social media. I mean, Jennifer, I don't know if we're connected. I know Hannah and I are. Hannah, you know what's in my feed, right? I mean, you know when I'm coming. Oh, here he comes. Here he comes, and there's a ribeye right behind him.
As a friend. I think I added you as a friend 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I see what you're doing now.
Yeah. But some people use. Hannah, I'll ask you just because I see you posting. Do you use any kind of rules where it's like, okay, one businessy thing and 4 personal posts? Do you use any rules like that you would share?
Yeah. Make sure you find a healthy balance with it. You want to engage. So when you have a new listing, do pre-listing marketing, do pictures or coming soon, if you have a builder that you're working with. So I would say do a healthy mix. Don't just keep it straight business. You're a person. People want to feel like they know you, it's more just business. All she posts is business.
Meet you as a friend. If it's all just sitting there, you posting, check out this home that you could buy with no money down. I mean, people are going to delete that.
Well, you know what they do, Jennifer, and Facebook set it up like this is they just unfollow you. So you see them as a friend, but they are no longer seeing anything in your feed because it's pretty much a fact. I think it's 1 to 5, maybe even 1 to 6, Hannah, like 6 personal, 1 business. Yeah. If you have too much business, they click the unfollow button because they want to see what Hannah was wearing in her engagement pictures more than they want to see your listing. I mean, it's true.
What they really want to see is, let me see when she's getting married. Let me see her engagement photos.
It's a way to follow up with them. And you know what? To spin it around, do the same for them. If you have a past client that and they're posting things. We have a lot of clients that have, when they move, they've gotten pregnant, or they redid a bathroom. It's a good opening to kind of, I'm going to follow up with them, and I'm going to comment on it, and I'm going to follow up with a phone call next week.
And a note card.
And a note card. It seems like they have a lot of exciting things going on. Call them.
Yeah, if you see they're pregnant, that's one of the things we'll do. Congratulations on your pregnancy. So we'll come back in the office the next morning, write a handwritten note. Hey, congratulations on your pregnancy. You know,
We're so excited.
We're
All right,
so
now
excited.
you're opening doors, Jennifer, where this is going to become like a 9-hour podcast now you're opening now you're opening all kinds of doors. And I'm looking at the clock, and I really appreciate you all. No, it's great. I mean, it's any person I'm on here with, you know, it's a battle. You know, you can do a really long podcast, and there's certain people that like long ones, but we like to try to keep them 35, 40 minutes so people stay engaged. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate you all taking some time and coming on, and I know it's festival time. Just on a personal, either of you all going to be on a float?
I usually ride Iris, but because I'm getting married on March 9th, I decided this year I'm gonna take a back seat so I don't have too much going on.
I will never forget bartending at Fat Harry's my senior year of college for a Mardi Gras, because you know how many parades go up Napoleon and down St. Charles, and it was like, whoa, what is happening here? It was like an 18-hour shift. You know, of full-on action. It never stopped. But
it doesn't stop
from like 7 a.m. until
12. Past that.
24 hours. The bars are open 24 hours here.
Nothing like going directly from Tipitina's over to the parade route on St. Charles at 8 a.m. on Tuesday morning, right?
Yep.
Game on. So
weird.
yeah, exactly. So have a good, safe Mardi Gras season. For those of you, we're taping this in February, but you probably won't see it till May or June. Jennifer Blanchard and Hannah Hakim, top producing team, not the number one team, but the number one small team at Keller Williams in New Orleans. And thank you so much for your time. There's a lot of great stuff in here. So again, if you like this podcast, please let us know you like it on YouTube or on iTunes or wherever you consume your podcast, or my Facebook page. You can leave questions. We can get them to Hannah and Jennifer. I'm sure you all be glad to answer anything, right? Help out anyone. Those of you Keller Williams agents listening, I'll apologize for Jennifer for saying Keller Williams says to do this, but we don't do it. So, which was no, it was great. It was awesome, and I think a lot of people will nod along with that. So again, have an awesome Mardi Gras season, and I will talk to you all soon. See you guys later. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.